Hey, welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Zach. I am here with Coach Gracie and Coach Brandy. And today we are doing an Ask Us Anything episode. So we've got some questions from our members that we are just going to hopefully provide some good answers to. But before we do that, we want to give a shout out to a client of the week. This week's client is Gigi, and we don't know how to say Gigi's first name or last name. We can't pronounce it. So she just goes by Gigi. Brandy, this was your pick.
Yes.
Her and Majid are doing amazing. They're doing awesome. They have great attitudes. Do you have something that you would like to say about her?
I do. I have a lot to say about Gigi, but most importantly, she's just fun to train. She comes in with a great attitude. But the reason I picked her for client of the week, when she first started training at Legacy, I think she may have told you this during her initial appointment with you, but she also told to me and maybe Gracie as well, she didn't think she was going to stick to it. Yeah. She wanted to start training, but she's like, I don't think I'm going to stick with this. Not only has she stuck with it, she has been super consistent. She comes in, she's smiling, she's having a good time, she's working really hard. And now her attitude of I'm not going to stick with it has completely changed to I want to get stronger. What can I do? She's asking nutrition questions. So she's really done a 180 in terms of her mindset.
We're going to answer one of her nutrition questions later. Her and Majid came in and met with me, and I legitimately hard closed them because I knew that if they left here, they wouldn't do anything. They would just go back to their normal lifestyle that they'd been living, that they were coming in to meet with me to change. And it's the only time I've ever done this, but we got to a point where I was like, you guys, here's what I need you to do. And I was like, I'm going to leave the room so you guys can talk about it, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. And I walked out and I went to the bathroom and I got a drink and I came back in, and they're like, okay, right? We'll do this. And it was really cool because after we did their 2-week check-in, and she said, or they both said to me, you're right. If we hadn't signed up that day, we would have just gone home and not done anything. And that was really cool. So it's I hope I just share that story because it's a great lesson for people, is sometimes you just have to get going, right? Motivation doesn't lead to action. It's action leads to motivation. And now she's on this journey. They're both on this journey where they're starting to make positive changes in their life. And it all started in that moment, right? And they just needed a nudge to push them in the right direction. So shout out to Gigi.
Yeah, and Majid, you're doing awesome as well.
Yeah. Okay, Brandy, you're gonna be our question reader.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and dive in here. We asked our members to just, what would you like to hear on the podcast? And we've got a list of questions, and we're going to run through some of them. We've done entire episodes on some of these. Some of them we probably will do entire episodes on in the future, but we just figured it'd be fun to kind of go through the list and just give people, short answers or high level overviews of their questions. So fire away.
Okay, the first question. There were several questions on this topic, but the topic is protein. First question is, how much protein and when?
How much protein and when? Okay, Gracie, you're up.
How much protein? The easiest way I can say it is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 120 pounds, you should eat 120 grams of protein. That is my recommendation.
What if you weigh 250 pounds?
You want it, so that's a lot of protein, but you want to aim for your ideal body weight. So say you weigh 250, but you want to get down to 200, you should be eating 200 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So whatever that ideal body weight is for you, hopefully it's not, 250, but to each their own. So
You can't, but,
I'm not gonna.
but it's like if you're female and you're like, I can't eat enough protein, your ideal body weight is not 90 pounds.
Right.
So,
Agreed.
so it comes down to also like your lean body mass as well. So you need to have a healthy amount of muscle and lean body mass. So for most people, it's going to be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you're extremely overweight, then we would look at maybe what your weight should be. But you have to take into account, like, you should have probably more muscle mass than you do and less body fat. So you wouldn't just be able to figure that out on your own. You need to do an in-body scan and consult with us. But as a general rule of thumb, 1 pound of protein or whatever.
1 gram.
Gracie.
1 pound of
gram per-
protein. That's a lot of protein.
Yeah. 1 pound of
1 gram of protein per pound of body
Yes.
weight.
Yes. And when? Brandy, I'll let you
Yes.
answer that.
Oh, okay. So I think, first of all, get to your 1 gram of protein per day. So as far as the timing goes, I think we could get in the weeds around timing and should you do it before or after you work out. Bottom line, get your protein in by the end of the day. I think if you're looking for tips on how to make it easier, think about front loading your protein. So getting as much as you can early on in the day so that at the end of the day, you're like, oh man, I still have, 100 grams of protein that I have to try and fit in. So try and front load into your day and then break it up into chunks if it seems overwhelming to you. So, think about meals. If you're eating 3 meals a day and 2 snacks, how can you break that into, let's say, 30 or 40 grams of protein per meal? And that can be easier way to think about how to chunk that out throughout your day.
And just have protein with every meal.
Yeah.
Like every time you eat, make sure there's protein included in that, whether it's an actual meal or just a snack.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Next question.
Any easy go-to tips around protein? We just talked about a couple. Anything else that anyone wants to add?
My go-to is like yogurt, plain yogurt with protein powder mixed in and some berries. I love that for breakfast. I love it for a snack. I love it for dessert. It's an easy, not all on the same day, but like it's an easy way. There's protein in the yogurt. There's protein in the protein powder. I'm getting some berries. It tastes delicious. It can kind of curve a sweet tooth right in the evening if I'm like, I need something sweet. Even when I want to get wild, I might put some granola in there, but that's an easy hack,
Yeah.
right? Easy way to add an extra 40 grams of protein to
Yep.
your day. Gracie, this is like your world. You're so
No,
excited
that's funny.
for this.
Well, that you said that because like that has been my go-to lately. Has been Greek yogurt. Like I don't know what it is.
I
but
didn't say Greek yogurt,
Okay,
but
well,
like
Greek yogurt's better in my opinion, but I'm just saying. Greek yogurt actually has more protein than the regular yogurt too.
I use Greek yogurt in place of sour cream.
That's a great hack.
Tastes very similar, and now I'm getting extra protein right from the Greek yogurt.
Along the same lines of that, like I don't know, you could use it as a replacement for like any cheese or sour cream, but I use cottage cheese in place of so many different things. Like I'll put on top of my taco bowls. Like I've been putting it in my eggs recently. That's been adding more protein. I really like that, and it kind of gives it like a cheesy texture. So cottage cheese is one of my biggest like protein hacks right now.
I like it. I like
I've
it.
been enjoying that a lot.
Okay. Protein powder in your oats. Like
Yes.
if you're an oatmeal eater, like just add you could add
Yeah.
yogurt to that as well. Brandy, I'm sure you have a million of these.
I do. And actually the cottage cheese and the yogurt were 2 big ones. Those are great snacks or meals. I think I think let's leave it at that. I think those
Okay.
are good ones.
I will just little like caution, right, is don't mistake fats for protein. I feel like people do this all the time. And they're like, yeah, I'm getting my protein from peanut butter. And I'm like, that's a fat, right? So yes, it has protein in it, but it has more fat. And you have to be aware, like you don't want to blow your fats for the day, because if you do, like if it like meaning you consume too many grams of fat, it's going to be hard to lose weight. So if you're trying to lose weight, you want to be very cautious of that. You want to go towards leaner protein, lower fat protein sources versus like all these other things that contain protein but don't necessarily aren't super high in protein or protein dominant.
Yeah,
So,
look at the nutrition label, compare the protein versus fat. Another little hack that you just made me think of was looking at if you want to choose a lean protein source, and is this a protein that would be, good protein to choose, is to look at the number. So look at the grams of protein. So let's say peanut butter. Let's use your example. Say there's maybe 6 grams of protein in peanut butter, but there's 200 and something calories overall in peanut butter. So if you multiply the grams of protein by 10 and then compare that to the total calories. So the protein should be equal to or more than the total calories. So in the peanut butter example, you multiply 6 grams of protein by 10, that's 60, but there's 200 and something grams of or calories in protein.
Yeah.
So then if you do that with other things like a cottage cheese or grilled chicken, you multiply, for cottage cheese, there's around 20 grams of protein in one serving, and then multiply that by 10, and maybe there's 160 calories total. So the protein number outweighs the total calories.
Got it. I like that hack. I haven't heard that before. So you taught me something new, Brandy.
Yeah. Okay. So still in the same vein of protein powders, yay or nay?
I think they're a great supplement, to add into your routine. Like, obviously, I'm going to say, focus on getting your protein through, real whole food sources as much as you can, whether that's meat, fish, eggs, like whatever that is for you, Greek yogurt, whatever that is. But adding protein powder in, if you need it to reach your protein goal for the day, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Personally, for me, I've been having smoothies like almost every single day. So adding protein powder to my smoothie just helps me fill up a little bit more. But just be cautious of the protein powder you're choosing. It should not have too many ingredients on it. Maybe like 4 ingredients at most is what I'm going to say. Because you don't need all those extra fillers in your protein powder. You're really just trying to get that protein in. So there's no need for 18 other things in that protein powder.
Yeah, exactly.
Agree.
Right. Like, you absolutely do it. Why not? It's a hack. You're not going to get the protein that you need, most likely, especially if you're not used to eating that way. So why not use a supplement that's easy to drink down? It's convenient. You can do it on the go. You can take it with you, right? It eliminates a lot of the excuses for people not getting enough protein in or skipping meals. You just have to be cautious of what supplement you use.
Totally agree. Same question around protein bars. Yay or nay?
No.
I think most protein bars are they're like candy bars.
Mm-hmm.
Candy bars with protein in them.
Yeah.
That's what I call protein bars.
Yeah.
There are a few
There's
that
a couple.
are decent. But unless you're like hiking on the go, you need something that's portable. Then,
Or keep one in your car if you ever need it.
Yeah.
For traveling, they can be useful.
Yeah.
But do
Yeah.
that. So I would say same answer as you gave with the protein powder is look at the ingredients. Find something that has minimal ingredients, like whole food ingredients, not a bunch of added things that you don't know what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Supplements. Are they important? And do you have any recommendations around supplements?
Ooh. Yes, they're important, but if you're supplementing just to supplement, you're probably wasting your money. You need a strategy and a reason why you are taking the supplements that you're taking. A multivitamin is a great option. I think everybody should probably take a multivitamin. You want to take a really good quality one. If you're getting your multivitamins at Costco, sorry Costco, but you're wasting your money. You need a quality multivitamin, preferably one that has a methylated vitamin B in it, because most people don't methylate well. And then that's kind of your foundational thing. And then beyond that, you probably shouldn't be wasting your money on supplements by shooting in the dark, saying I heard this is good for this, and then you're taking that and you don't know if you're deficient in it or not.
Yeah.
I would say methylated vitamin B and then a DK2 supplement. Most people are deficient in vitamin D. K2 helps absorb vitamin D. So I would say those two things are absolute. You should be taking those. same with the protein, make sure you're getting quality supplement. Beyond that, like, you should have blood work done, see what you're deficient in, and then supplement to fix those deficiencies before you would just be shooting in the dark and hoping that what you're getting is something that you actually need.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say get your blood work done because that's the only way you're going to know if you need to supplement with something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're deficient. You
Yep.
might not be deficient and you're just taking it and then peeing it out. And,
Right.
you know, that's
It's
expensive.
a lot of
pee.
money to spend on something you don't need. Okay. So I love this question. How can you eat all you want and still stay fit?
GG. That was a GG question. You can't. You can't. You have to work out 10 hours a day.
So you can.
So you have to work out 10 hours a day. If you're not going to work out 10 hours a day and train like an Olympic athlete, then you can't. So unless you're swimming as much as Michael Phelps, then you can't eat like him. Sorry.
I think it's a fair point. But going off of that, I think like it's just everything in moderation. You know, like following the 80-20 rule, I think is huge. And, you know, if you have like those favorite foods that are maybe, you know, more fast foods, say like you just love a McDonald's cheeseburger, figure out how you can make it at home, how you can like, you know, make something similar to that. You can still enjoy it, taste it, but it's not filled with all the bad ingredients, harmful stuff that, you know, maybe you'll get there. So just finding ways that you can still enjoy your food and enjoy the experience in a healthier manner.
Right. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How can you speed up your metabolism?
Brandy, you're up.
Okay. So I think the best way to speed up your metabolism is to gain skeletal muscle mass. So as you gain skeletal muscle mass, that is going to impact your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is going to go up, and in effect, you're speeding up your metabolism. So how do you do that? You strength train, you prioritize protein, and that is going to speed up your metabolism.
So there's so many ways to do this. That's a great point. Like, the more muscle mass you have, the more calories it takes to sustain that. So you're by default, you're burning more calories. Move your body. The more active you are, the more calories that you're burning. Get sleep. If you're in a sleep deficit, even as much as like getting 6 hours a night instead of 8 hours a night, you become more insulin resistant. And so it over time, as that amplifies and your sleep hygiene is not good and you have a deficit, like you are making yourself diabetic essentially by not getting enough sleep. We know what that does to your metabolism. So those things, and then blood work, right? Like supplements, a lot of people have issues with their thyroids not functioning properly. So if you get blood work done and you look at your thyroid and it's not functioning properly, there's reasons to, you know, supplement there with some support, something like an iodine supplement. And then finally, drink water. Simple. Just drink a lot of water, and that's going to help every cellular function, including your metabolism. Gracie, you have anything to add to that?
Just kind of add to that, like you have to eat. Like if you are not eating enough food, your body will go into like fight or flight mode. You know, it'll store that food as energy because it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get enough food again. So making sure that you're constantly eating enough food is going to allow your body to keep metabolizing and keep moving and keep things functioning in a proper manner. So
fat is stored energy. So
Right.
if you're not eating enough calories, then your body thinks it's starving. So it's going to store that and convert everything you eat to fat because it wants to live. Smart.
Okay. How do you stay hydrated?
drink
your water,
Drink
people.
Drink water.
Drink water.
Start early in the morning, drink it all day.
Drink water.
I have such a struggle with understanding why people have a difficult time drinking water.
I have a difficult time understanding why people say they don't like water. I don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
And drinking caffeinated or energy beverages is not
Doesn't
the
count.
same. It does
doesn't-
not count.
no.
This
That
is,
can actually dehydrate. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, but I mean, just drink water. Just get a bottle of water, a big bottle of water, and drink it constantly. Sip on it constantly. If you're somebody that forgets to drink because you're distracted, set specific times, even if you have to set an alarm of times that you're going to guzzle water, right? And a good indicator is like, if you don't have to pee every single hour of the day, you're not drinking enough water. And you should create this cycle where it's like you guzzle water and then you have to pee within an hour. And then when you do your pee break, guzzle more water so that you have to pee again. And it just creates this cycle. But if we did a podcast not that long ago about hydration, and it's like, if you're as much as 2% hydrated, all of the negative things that happen, you don't want to go down that path. So just suck it up, drink the water.
If you're not sure, do the pee test. Like if your pee is bright yellow, you're not getting enough
That
water.
gives me anxiety.
If you're taking, going back to our supplement, if you're taking a methylated multivitamin, your
True.
pee will probably
That's
be,
true.
yellow, but that's not from
because of the
dehydration.
vitamin.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a burning question.
A burning
Yes.
question.
What happened to Scott?
I don't know who wrote that.
I don't either.
Scott moved.
Okay.
So that's all. Yeah. 6 a.m. Scott, he moved away. However, I would say reach out to him because he didn't move that far away that he couldn't make it happen to get here. So if you're listening to this, reach out to Scott and tell him, like, we want you back. You can, wake up 10 minutes earlier to get to the gym.
Come back,
time.
Scott.
Yeah, come back, Scott.
Okay. Next question. How do you develop short-term fitness goals?
I'm not going to answer this.
Okay.
You don't. That's my take on it. You don't. You just work out
Yeah.
regularly.
So-
That's my perspective, but that's why I said
I have a thought on this too.
Yes.
So I think goals are fine. People, you can, if you have a goal, that's great. If there's, you have a long-term or short-term goal, a lot of people are goal-driven. They need to have a goal. But what's really going to make the difference is the action you're going to take to get you toward that goal. So if you have a goal in mind, whether it's a short or a long-term goal, then really the most effective thing is to determine, okay, what action can I take today that's going to move me toward that goal? Even if it's a small, somewhat a small action, just any action, what action can I take that's going to get me toward that goal? And then keep building on that.
I think that's a great tip. That's kind of what I would say also. Like there's nothing wrong with goals. We all have goals here and there about everything. But as long as those goals are achievable and maintainable and you can, make an effort towards them every single day, then I think it's a good goal.
Okay.
I
Anything else?
don't set goals.
You just do.
I just do. I don't know. So I'm
Just
not the
work
right.
out.
I'm not
Yeah.
the right person to answer that question. Okay.
Just take action.
One final one. One final
Okay.
one, and then
How
we're
do
gonna
you?
wrap it up.
This is the last one, actually.
Oh,
How do
okay.
you weed through misinformation?
regarding fitness.
Just general misinformation. I would say health and fitness.
Yeah,
nutrition.
health and fitness.
There's a lot of nutrition misinformation out there too. Lots of fitness misinformation.
I think it's just like you have to have the right source.
Consider the source. That's what I
Consider the
was
source,
thinking.
right? And thankfully for our audience, our members, like they have the resource to come to us and ask. But for our listeners, they may not, right? So there are definitely reputable sources out there, but you always with fitness, so much of it is just tradition as well, and just kind of like bro science, and it's like, this is always what everybody's always believed, and there's no like research behind that. And we've gotten to a point now where there is scientifically backed things that are just like out there. Get on YouTube, research, find stuff that has, resources and citations and things that were studied and proven and that's what you want to go with. And if not, don't just make assumptions just because like, oh, my friend, you know, did this and lost 20 pounds, right? Don't follow that methodology, because otherwise, yeah, maybe it worked for them, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you, or that it's even correct, or that it won't hurt you in the long term. So,
Yep.
Okay. That's all we got for you today. We'll be back next week with more great stuff. Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.